I'm talking on the hand transplantation, the present and the future. We always begin this talk with Lord Ganesha, whom I believe is the biggest representation of an organ transplantation in our culture. Transplantation is a process of taking an organ or a living tissue and implanting it in another part of the body or into another body altogether. Throughout the scriptures and literature, we have these examples of organisms or creatures with different body parts from different individuals, and they are in a way a representation of transplantation to some extent. In our day-to-day practice, we often come across amputees who come in different forms. They could be single amputee or a double amputee or a triple or a quadruple amputee at times. Hand transplantation, I believe, has stood the test of time. This has shown good or excellent outcomes at most centers across the world, and every system across the world has its own set of unique challenges. This is mainly because the prosthetic limbs have not stood up to the expectations. They do not have sensations, they cannot be used in water, they carry a certain amount of weight, there are stump-related issues, there is poor acceptability. The prostheses are exorbitantly costly, which is a recurring expense for the individual. And so this prosthetic rehabilitation has never been found to be very satisfactory. Of course, there are ethical concerns with hand transplantation because this is not a life-saving procedure, this is a life-enhancing procedure, but it does have an immense impact on the life expectancy and due to the lifelong immunosuppression and the problems that come along with it. So it is always a decision which is to be made thoughtfully and wisely. The recipient selection, I believe, is the most important and the crucial factor that determines the successful outcome of any transplant or the success of any transplant program in the long run. The ideal recipient, I believe, is a motivated adult, psychologically stable. He should have failed a trial of prosthesis and preferably have a favorable mechanism of amputation and a level of amputation. Transplantation, I believe, is not similar to a replantation, but there are several issues that we need to deal with in a different manner, and the thought process and the approach has to be quite different. This is the standard immunosuppression regime that we follow. It includes antithymocyte globulin and 3-drug therapy which continues for lifelong. The main target of these treatments is, of course, to reduce the steroid requirement over time, which in turn will reduce the complication rate over time. We run through the clinical experience. We've done 13 transplants in 13 patients till date over the last 5 years. 9 of them have been due to electrocution, 2 due to train accidents, 1 an industrial accident, and 1 in a congenital absence of hand. 9 were males, 4 females, 11 bilateral, 2 unilateral. So in all, 24 hands were transplanted in 13 patients. Of these, 9 were at a proximal forearm level, 4 at a supracondylar level, 1 mid-arm level, 1 partial hand, and 9 at a proximal arm or shoulder level transplants. These are certain images that we'll quickly run through. She was our first patient, an amputee for 6 years, had to wait for 30 months after she got registered in order to get a suitable donor. A bilateral forearm level, proximal forearm level transplant was performed 5 years back. She's recently completed 5 years. And she is now working as a patient care coordinator in our own hospital. She's motivating patients or the prospective patients, and she's setting an example. She's now almost an ambassador for organ donation. These are 2 interesting cases. 2 quadruple amputees. Worldwide, it has been seen that quadruple amputees, there has been high incidence of complications and death at times following transplants in quadruple amputees because of the systemic changes that the body has to undergo in order to accept limbs due to the limited cardiovascular reserves that these patients tend to develop over time. We performed these transplants within a span of 15 days, and both of these patients have completed almost 4 years post their transplants. And these are some of the activities that they have been performing post their transplants. The assessment of these transplants are not in terms of finer movements or the total active movements, or it is an overall assessment in terms of the quality of life improvement. It is the way they feel complete. It is the way they integrate themselves back into the society. It is the way they gain back their self-respect. This was another mother of 2 children who was desperately wanting hands in order to take care of her kids, and we are happy to help her with it. This was an interesting case with a partial hand transplant done. You can see the right hand, we've just transplanted the 3 fingers on the right hand, and the left hand was transplanted at the proximal forearm level. He could gain a reasonable intrinsic function in spite of not having done anything specific to repair the intrinsics. This was another interesting case in which a transplant was done for a congenital absence. There were a lot of questions about the cortical plasticity and the acceptance of the brain to reincorporate the hand into practical use. But yes, she is now back to most of her routine activities with regained confidence. This was another case in which a very proximal level amputation, almost a shoulder level transplant was performed. The recovery in the transplant cases is reasonably faster as compared to trauma, and within 1 year we could gain reasonable hand function. This was another case in which almost a bilateral proximal level transplant was performed. This is a triple amputee in which a bilateral proximal forearm transplant was performed, and he's extremely motivated and enthusiastic. And it has been a huge teamwork. I could only thank my team for all these efforts. There are several challenges in transplantation: the lack of awareness, social myths, religious beliefs, the challenges with organ donation due to the visible mutilation, cost and financial constraints, and lifelong immunosuppression. Regarding India, I would like to say that we have currently close to 9 or 10 transplant centers across the country. The total number of limbs transplanted in India has been higher than any other country in the world, both in terms of bilateral transplants and the total number of transplants. A transplant, I believe, is the ultimate legacy that a person can leave, and it's the greatest gift of community service that we can give. Coming to the theme of the Congress, the progress is defined as a movement towards a goal or to further or to a higher stage. And technical advances that we could contribute to the field of transplants is partial hand transplants, congenital aplasia, and proximal or shoulder level transplants. Progress in surgery is not just about advanced techniques and technology, but in restoring dignity, independence, and life itself. It is hugely dependent on the courage of the patients and the compassion of the caregivers. And of course, the purpose behind the cause is what is important. Almost every patient of ours has required some sort of financial support. We have been striving to keep these transplants affordable and within the reach of the common man. And we have been instrumental in gathering the help from the society itself. So progress with purpose coming in, keeping in sync with the theme of the Congress is the union of science and humanity, where every stage, every transplant, and every innovation is guided by deeper mission of giving people back their ability to touch, feel, and live fully. Thank you so much.